Ireland's live streaming service. This is Force 13 Live, hello. The current time, 9 PM here in the UK, 8 o'clock on the Universal Clock, Universal Time. And of course, we are monitoring 2 invests and US severe weather in this hour. My name's Nathan Foy. At some point, you might be able to see me somewhere. Oh, hello, here I am. And I'm also joined by the Skype team this evening, as I alluded to, currently consisting of David, Isaac and Craig. I will be able to fade them up in just a moment as soon as I find the right dial, and there they are now. Hello.
Hello.
Evening.
They seem pleased about it. Hi, and you're looking at a view here at Force 13 HQ, temperature going down like a stone, 72 degrees still, however, after reaching a peak of 87 earlier today, which may not sound like much to some people, especially over there in the tropics, but bearing in mind that the June average here for a high temperature is only 66. Well, Craig, I think you probably have our first item.
Yes. Just looking at the severe weather in the States right now, I might just do a screen share to be better off and more descriptive of what I'm saying right now.
That is the live event there somewhere. I don't know why it's showing us that right now. I'll try and amend that at some point, but that is where everything is going on. Yes.
Yes. Right now, in terms
We'll
of
change that. We'll bring Craig instead. There we go.
Yes. There we go. There's our...
Well, yeah, there it is. It's loaded now, yes?
GR level 3. Yes. This is what we're looking at right now. GR level 3 is what I'm running right now. This is a line of severe thunderstorms in Pennsylvania right now. I was going to say Philadelphia, that was a bit silly. Right now, and I'm concentrating on this area here of strong green and possible developing stronger red. Now, the red isn't there just yet. Doesn't mean that this storm has a circulation just as of yet. This is a weak circulation, possible broad. As you can see here, GR level 3 does have a mesocyclone marker on, so this thing does have a meso. It looks to be an upper level mesocyclone, so it's not base yet. If it's base, it'd be either red, yellow, or purple. And obviously, if it was going to start putting down a tornado, it would have a tornado signature on it, or a TVS icon put on it. These storms are moving northeast at about, I think, what the warning statement was, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts are one of the hazards. Penny-sized hail is also another hazard in these line of storms. These storms are moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. One of the storms up here has a 1/4 inch size hail marker on it, and these are definitely moving northeast as the track markers and the motion for these storms are moving. Already there's been some gusts reported, or wind damage already reported here. As you can see on the event, multiple trees are down. Source was a 911 caller, or at a 911 call center in Hancock, and also another area of multiple trees down and near the same area. So that's definitely something to be concerned of. Other damage as well, and at Mercy, should I say? Mercer, I was correct. Multiple trees down again, and also more trees down south of town in Crawford, and also possible more trees down. Yes, more trees down on Sherman Westfield Road. If anyone's watching from Pennsylvania right now, I probably would, or Philadelphia. Forgive me if I'm not really the heat's really affecting me at the minute. My head is all over the place.
Really?
But still, I will soldier on. Yes, because I was outside today. These storms are very likely of producing tornadoes. I have seen. This is what it looks like on the base reflectivity. So this is what it looks like in terms of structure. You can see like a bow echo or C. Like it's a shape like a C. You can see here, make out like a C, the letter C here. I've seen this pattern.
I see a
before.
squiggle.
that's what they sort of look like. They look like miniature squall lines. Here's the actual line of storms. I'll take the warnings off so you can actually see them. It's a giant mess and everything else that's on it. Take the tracks off. So there you have it. I'll take the meso marker. So there's our line of storms. Not really well organized at the minute. This is obviously out of the radar sight, so the radar can't see it too great. As you can see here, this is the area I'm watching. A strong area, at least 50 to 60 dBz on radar, which is pretty impressive for these types of storms because they are severe warned. Base velocities, again, looks like it's gotten a little bit stronger, but that's all I've got for now. I'm not seeing anything else of concern, apart from the odd severe special marine warning, but this one has been cancelled. So that one,
okay.
this one here might get extended, and I know that there's one down in New Orleans. The National Weather Service in New Orleans has issued a special marine warning for Lake Pontchartrain until 3:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 2:38 p.m. Central Daylight Time, strong thunderstorms were located along a line extended from near south end of Causeway Bridge to northwest of Kenner. The strong thunderstorms were nearly stationary, but strong wind gusts over 35 knots are likely to move northeast over the open lake waters. So gusting of 40 miles per hour. And if you're out at sea, or if you're out on Lake Pontchartrain right now, obviously
they won't be watching the stream.
Exactly, but if you're near it or planning to go out, which I really would advise against, obviously, if anyone has heard that on boats anyway, do make sure
shift your attention here, Craig. If you're able to see this stream from here, I want everyone actually in the room to see what the latest is with Invest 93. No, not that window. Invest 93W. I keep picking the wrong window. I cannot find the correct one. Where's it gone? It's somewhere over there. I'm trying to find the correct window, which actually shows... Yeah, take two indeed. Which actually shows what indeed I want to show, which will be Invest 93. That will take another moment or two, but if you guys want to just quickly comment on it before we get the visual on how it appears to... this rotation that's going on about 150 miles west of the Cayman Islands could be the formation of a new center and could be very close to attaining depression or storm status.
Nathan, yeah, I have a little bit of information with what's going on down there in the Grand Cayman. As soon as I find the information, I've been looking at the weather radar, and they have a severe weather warning, flood warning, and a couple other warnings for the entire Grand Cayman.
Now I've got the imagery of it now, so if you guys can see the stream from where you are, what do you think of what you're seeing here? And you can see on this loop here that it appears to me as though rotation is increasing, and you can pretty much discern where a center would be.
It looks to me like a big mess. That's what it looks like.
Really?
Yeah, but no. Yeah, I can see the circulation where you say it's at, and looks like it's trying to fire up some more convections.
At least 35 miles an hour. We said earlier today that we could have a 40-mile-an-hour invest. Well, I think that actually has just become official, but I don't see any evidence for that yet.
Has there been any buoys in it yet, like that have recorded anything, or?
I have no idea, but that could be the case indeed.
Yeah, because I'd imagine there should be some buoys around there that might be recording it. But you can see it looks like it's trying to fire up some more convection before the sun goes down. And you can obviously see where it's at right there. Earlier it was a mess, but now it's kind of gotten a little bit more organized and seems to be moving to the north right now. A little bit to the west. I mean, west-east. Well, I lost my train of thought.
You were right with west, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get confused between the two for some reason, but yeah.
And if you haven't seen it yet, Force 13 issued, Force 13 Storm Early Warning System issued a new forecast track earlier for 93L. There it is. That's what it looked like at 18 Zulu, which was only about 2 hours ago. And you can see on the forecast there that it is now... I think that's an old one actually. Let's get the new one up, shall we? That might be a little bit more helpful. This is the new one from 18 Zulu. As you can see, with the relocation there just to the northeast of where we initially thought it would end up being, we still don't know for sure whether this will be the point of the new centre. But there you can see a forecast to the northwest generally. Depression within 12 hours. Tropical storm, named storm within 24 hours is the current forecast, and it could strengthen more. I think we are sticking with a 45 mile an hour peak, but it really could be higher than that as it approaches the coast of New Orleans area and Louisiana, of course. The landfall area is looking to be somewhere around the Mississippi-Alabama border right now, but there is quite a lot of uncertainty still about that, and indeed some models now predicting a stalling off the coast of those areas, those states, and that is certainly going to exacerbate the rainfall, which was already estimated to be somewhere around 16 inches in some areas, possibly up to 18 just off the coast of the mouth of the Mississippi River. Anyone, if you've got any questions or comments for us, send us a message in the comment section of YouTube right now if you're watching us live, which we certainly hope you are, otherwise you're a time traveller, and I'll read out all the questions and respond. First of all, we do have some. Baseball Games Live says, can you tell me if 93L is moving northeast? Well, when you look at that graphic you would think it had been, but that's just a correction basically, a correction to its position, and the general trend is northwest. So it's not moving northeast, and it doesn't look like it is going to move northeast anytime soon. Well there.
There's a lot of people asking if it'll hit Florida too.
People shouting about it, whether it will hit Florida. This cone of uncertainty is not a 100% inclusive cone of uncertainty. By that I mean there is a small possibility, as with any cone of uncertainty, whether this system will deviate outside of that cone. I think the National Hurricane Center's cone is something like what is it, 66% certainty or something. The JMA has a 70% cone, I believe, so it's never 100%, but this cone, I mean, we don't really have an actual number, but it's something along those lines as well. So there's always the possibility, a small possibility, that it will deviate away from the cone, but it really looks unlikely that the storm would make landfall, say, anywhere east or south of Hermine. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on this, guys. Oh, we've got a screen share going on. Let's take a look at it.
Woo! Yes, this is mid-level shear for the Atlantic. Well, you'd imagine somewhere here it is 93L, and you can see here it is in low mid-level wind shear, and ahead of it there is a little bit of strong mid-level wind shear. This is what killed Adrian, and this is where us and the team actually realised that we'd messed up reading the wind shear graphics. Yeah.
I don't go into that very much. This is Craig and Hank. What happened?
Yeah. I have no idea. Because we don't normally
that's very
look at mid-level shears. It's one of them things. You don't. Sadly, it happens, and thankfully, hopefully,
let's just gloss over that and tell us what the situation is now, to the best of your knowledge.
Well, from here, what we're seeing is the mid-level wind shear, where 93L is at the minute, is rather favourable for development. Of course, it is over land as far as I can see, with the centre that is supposedly developing. And then there is high mid-level wind shear. This is the stuff that killed Adrian. This was literally the stuff that slaughtered Adrian. Because Adrian was forecast to become a hurricane. Yes, I'm on about East Pacific here, but still. And obviously, the shear tendency said that the shear was decreasing. And what we didn't realise is that, well, what me and Hank didn't realise was that the upper mid-level wind shear was incredibly high, and that's what killed Adrian. So that was our own fault. But here, hopefully, we've learned from our mistake. So from what I'm seeing here, 93L is in low mid-level wind shear, but it could be moving into higher mid-level wind shear. Now, this is what shear tendencies thinks. This is pretty much what we'd look at. From what we're seeing here, wind shear where 93L is on the high side. It is on a little bit high, but where the convection is, it's low and still decreasing. But from where it's supposed to head, it's near enough infringing on 90 to 80 knots to 90 knots with the wind shear. But this is shear tendency. Mid-level shear is basically where we're now starting to, me and Hank start to get, well, could be getting paranoid of where we're going to look, because we don't want to look at shear tendency and make the same mistakes. But
well, the thing is with the shear tendency, it's not the colours that are denoting the shear tendency, that's the actual shear number. It's the lines there that say it's going up or down. It's going up ahead of the system.
Yeah, it's because that's the thing. We've had that problem once before, because we know from previous storms around the world, with, say, was it Ernie or Cyclone Ernie, wind shear was supposedly increasing where he was, but that wasn't the case on imagery. He blew up and literally became an absolute monster.
I just want to mention it right now. We're looking at satellite imagery of Invest 92 now. What are your guys' thoughts on that one?
To be honest, it looks to be really struggling, from what I can see. It does look to be struggling.
Still lacking the required rotation, though. I do wonder in those latest frames there whether something just might be beginning there. But we could have said that at any point in the last 48 hours, that it's beginning to do something. It never actually gets there, it seems. Is it still going to go headlong into the South American continent? It's got to make the turn now if it's going to follow the forecast. And it still hasn't made the turn to the northwest. I wonder here whether the models initially said that it would make landfall south of Trinidad in South America, which would make it the second most southerly landfall ever in the Atlantic after Martha of 1969 in Panama, and then they changed. They shifted north so the system would move north of Trinidad, and I just wonder whether they were right in the first instance that it would make landfall in South America.
I think I've got to agree with your position, Nathan. Looking at the rainbow leap, it could be adopting a west-northwest or westerly track.
It was westerly, and now it appears to be maybe ever so slightly to the west-northwest. But it's going to have to, if we just take a quick look here at what the last update on Suze said, Force 13's Storm Early Warning System, you look at that, it would have to change course to something like, maybe 300 to 310 degrees bearing, where at the moment it's only doing around 280 at most. It would have to move almost northwest to clear South America at this point, and at the moment it's barely moving north of west. Oh, getting very confusing with the compass here, but there we are. But that is what the forecast still says, and there will be another update on Suze at midnight UTC tonight. That's in just less than 4 hours.
Interesting.
Yes. Let's see if there's any more comments or questions. I'm not sure if there is anything directly towards me yet, though I did see an interesting question. Will 93L have $1 billion of damage or more? Come on now.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Hard to say. Hard to say.
Don't get too excited just yet. still got a lot.
I wouldn't get
of
excited at all if a storm's going to be capable of producing $1 billion worth of damage.
Well, this is a surprise. The National Hurricane Center will be initiating advisories on Invest 92.
What?
What?
Yes. They're going to issue advisories on Invest 92 at 5 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, which is in 40 minutes from now.
Oh, come on.
It's, that's interesting, I gotta say. You would think they'd do 93L, but they've gone with 92, the one further east that we're looking at the model guidance right now. They're issuing advisories on that, probably because they have a better idea of what it's going to do than with 93L.
So, well, by the way, we have this invest in the Caribbean. It's called 93L. Should we issue advisors on? Nah, let's just issue advisors on something called 92L. Because we've got more understanding where it's going. Ah, fair enough.
Well,
the logic
that
behind
is, that's an interesting turn, I've got to say. David, what are your thoughts?
I'm still 92L is going to be a rainmaker. Craig, can you bring up the upper level divergence on 92? It's only got about, what, 10 to 30 knots, but as the discussion was on the wind shear, that shear tendency showed a increase if you factor in the right line. So that means that the shear is increasing, but the upper level divergence, not that healthy if it was up around 40 knots. But I'm favouring 93L.
Well,
and let's see what
curious.
the NHC.
Yeah, but they're not going to be doing that one. They're doing the other one.
Yes.
The National Hurricane Center don't have that. They're not rising to the challenge of predicting Invest 93L yet. I don't really blame them, to be honest. When you look at that model spread there.
On my screenshot at the minute, you should be seeing the divergence of the two systems.
Whose screen are we looking
There's
at?
me. There's 93L.
Now you want to start
30 knots, and it is.
Oh wait, hold on. Yes, we're getting it.
Once yes, there we go. Here's 90. Well, the convection of 93L over here is somewhere supposedly 93L. The convection here is, you see, the divergence is completely elongated.
Now we can see it. Okay, good.
The divergence is completely elongated. And over here somewhere, let's find the invest. Oh wait, is that it there? I think it is. Something called 92L. I have no idea why it's there and why there's advisory supposed to be initiated on it. But hey, there must be something else that we can't see. But it's actually more compact. The divergence is more compact than what 93L's is.
Oh well, it would be, wouldn't it?
But the storm doesn't look that great, though. That's the thing.
Well,
it doesn't look that great.
Satellite imagery, it's still. No, look when you look closely enough. Let's bring it up again. Look closely enough at this, and you can see.
How close do we have to look?
Just in those last frames, Craig. Rotation has been increasing on the eastern side of this system, and
that's eastern side. This is the divergence covers the entire system.
Now look at the eastern side right now. That is where the low-level circulation will probably end up forming.
Probably.
And there's more convection going on just to the north there. It should have come earlier than this, but it looks like
it didn't.
It may be beginning to get itself together, but time is really running out for it.
To be honest, the clock is within seconds, and it's near enough within minutes.
We're counting in minutes now,
minutes
are we?
To days. Minutes
Hollywood
to days.
movie.
Yes, Hollywood movie. Let's do
1 minut for the storm to save the world.
Let's do scene. Let's do scene 2, episode 1. 92L.
Don't you mean Act 1,
but
Scene 1?
No, I'm not doing that.
Alright, well, let's get on with it. What are we going to be looking at next? Something's loading on your
left.
screen, and I won't show it until we've actually got something to see.
He got kicked. I don't know what happened. He just left. Anyway.
Oh, is he gone? Oh, we've lost Craig. Well,
Yeah.
Isaac, what are your thoughts on this remarkable development? Considering how considering how the National Hurricane Center will issue their first advisory on Invest 92 rather than 93.
Oh gee. Well, I guess like kind of going back to what Craig said. I guess I kind of really don't blame him because the models are just like all over the place. So I guess I couldn't really blame him, but still, it's a pretty.
But they've got more of a reason to do 93 than 92, unless Trinidad or whoever have issued warnings, and I don't know whether they've had a discussion.
I don't know.
Just going to check.
Either they're looking at they're seeing something that we don't, and they got on it.
I'm not sure if I completely understand Martinez's question just there. If the NHC begins to issue advisories on 92L half an hour from now, will it become TD2 or TS Bread? The answer's neither, because it won't be a TD. They basically should just call it Invest 92L advisories rather than potential TD2. It does get a bit confusing, because if you have say they did advisories on both of these as potential tropical depressions, they'll probably say TD2 on both of them, because neither of them will have become TD2 yet, and when one does, then they'll rename the other one to potential TD3. I don't think they've thought of that one, have they? Confusing, possibly, well, definitely with the general public, but there we go. But I do think it has looked much better in those late frames. David?
The Trinidad Met Office has no watches or warnings.
Well, that's curious then. I'd have thought they'd be the first, really.
I'm just checking.
Definitely looking better in the last.
Okay, here we go.
Last few frames.
Advisory issued Sunday the 18th by the Trinidad Met Office. Area disturbed weather southeast of Trinidad and Tobago. Yep, over the last 24 hours, this area disturbed weather has continued to show signs of organisation. There is a medium chance, 50%, of tropical cyclone development over the next 24 to 48 hours. Medium chance over the next 3 to 4 days. The system is forecast to move to the west-northwest at 35 kilometres an hour. There's your answer.
Well, what was the question?
Well, your comment was, or question, has changed to a west-northwest direction.
Oh.
So, let's say west-northwest at 35 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, I look at the satellite, it is closer to west-northwest than to west. But if we're going to be very pedantic about it, if people know their bearing numbers, where 270 is west, and I think 300 is west-northwest, isn't it? It would be at around 290 or 285, is what I'm saying. So it's sort of west-west-northwest.
You're trying to confuse yourself, are you?
Oh, I was just trying to confuse everyone else.
Oh dear.
The Trinidad and Tobago Meteorology Service continues to monitor, paying particular attention to the likelihood of tropical cyclone development. Whether or not this disturbance develops into a tropical cyclone, it can bring adverse marine and weather conditions in the next 30 to 42 hours. And they're advising people to monitor the warnings. We wish to underscore that at this point in time, Trinidad and Tobago are not under any tropical cyclone watch or warning. However, we'll continue to closely monitor this system as it tracks across the tropical Atlantic Ocean, and will issue another bulletin within 24 hours. So looks like there will be one forthcoming.
Speaking of warnings, there are a few over in the United States right now. Most of Arkansas had severe thunderstorm watches earlier. It's now a small area confined to northwesternmost Mississippi and towards the westernmost Tennessee and also easternmost Arkansas still. There is a slight risk there, I believe. And there are some severe thunderstorm warnings over in western Pennsylvania, and they're extending north as well into westernmost New York State, with also severe thunderstorm watches extending from eastern Ohio to sort of north New York State, but not quite. And there's a lot of flood advisories over in that neck of the woods as well. So we're watching that. And in the southwest part of the US, of course, there's a big massive heat wave going on there. One of the locations in California expected to reach 124 degrees on Tuesday, 51 Celsius. Remarkable. Have you got any questions for us? And I know there are plenty. Let's get to them. Well, we have two mainly. One person really wants to know about Texas, Isaac. Tell us, what's going to happen to Texas?
Well, right now it's kind of iffy. I've noticed all of pretty much all the mesoscale models, at least on Tropical Tidbits, pretty much show it either making landfall in Texas or making landfall in Louisiana as a tropical storm. But there's other models that take it towards Florida. So I'm thinking it's basically like right now it seems to me like a 50-50, I guess, of it going to one of the two.
Do you agree with the latest Force 13 Sue's forecast that's on the screen right now?
Yeah, I would agree with that, because if you were to put a cone like right in the middle there, it would fit right between there. So, and then also with the possibility of it trying to stall, that's not going to be good in terms of flooding. Hopefully it's not that bad. But basically anywhere I would say between maybe Brownsville all the way down to maybe Tampa needs to be watching in case it tries doing a west turn or an east turn. So that's really all I have to say about it. I have to track.
And you can also see the latest Sue's forecast for 92L as well, which, if you've just heard the news, will be under the NHC advisories in the next hour. They've decided to issue advisories on Invest 92, which was a surprise to us, because Invest 93 is looking more interesting, I'd say, but 92L still has the chance to develop as well. They could still both become tropical storms. Who'd like to go next?
Awkward silence.
But that's
just
all
looking
we
for
have
some
right
information.
now. Let's see if we can hop back over to 93L and see what that looks like on the latest satellite imagery. It's getting late in the day where 92L is now. It will start to get dark there soon. The imagery is just slowly loading there on 93. And you'll see how the rotation has been increasing there. And I'm personally convinced that the new low-level centre will occur there, around 150 miles west of the Cayman Islands of Grand Cayman, and moving towards the northwest. Isaac, do you see any other scenario than that?
What scenario? Can you say that again? You were cutting out.
About 93L and how you see that area there, the low-level centre must be forming there. It could not form anywhere else, surely.
Yeah. Unless, like, what the GFS predicted happens, like where the low-level centre near the Yucatan that we saw earlier, it'll probably just like either dissipate or die, and if it becomes something, just be moisture, and that'll be it.
Well,
but
the GFS now thinks that this area here that is developing will be the bit that that moves towards the north, and it looks as though to me as though there might be some associated moisture hanging off the southern side of it for a while as it gets its act together, and you can see why, I guess. Probably two competing low areas there, and the one on
I was about to say that's probably what's going on. I'd imagine the one that we see right now, the one that's spinning in the convection's probably going to win out. The one that's then the one that's to the west of it. So that one's probably the one that's pushing out convection's probably gonna be the other low, and we'll have to see where that decides to go. So, but
indeed. Well, you're looking at the latest view outside of Force 13 HQ. Time getting on over here. It's 25 to 10 on, of course, one of the longest days of the year. The solstice coming up very soon. The sun sets here on solstice day at 9:40 p.m. It's beautiful. And still 70 degrees here at Force 13 HQ after reaching a high of 87. If you'd like to tell us about your weather, go right ahead, and we'll broadcast it to everyone who happens to be watching. Of course, you can also contact us on Facebook and Twitter. Search Force 13 all in text. You can add Fool13 on Skype, FOOL13, and add extension 9094 on Discord.
Well done.
Yes, Isaac.
And over here on the East Coast.
Oh yes.
Go on,
we'll go to you next, David. Isaac, I think you were going to talk about your weather actually.
Last time I checked, I think it's gonna it's gonna update in the next few minutes here. But last time I checked, we had a temperature of 92 degrees Fahrenheit, a pressure of 1008 millibars, and a heat index of 109 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty darn hot over here. Suffering, and I believe our humidity is at 77%. Dew point, not humidity. I think humidity is like 68%. And our dew point is, I believe, at 77%. And expected to get more cloudy weather on throughout the day, throughout the weekend now because of Ingress 93L. So we might get a few occasional showers here. I know the best chance for me will be on Thursday and Wednesday for rain showers.
Yeah, and by the way, if people are still worrying about Florida, like more southerly parts of Florida, Tampa Bay southwards, I'm going to wager that the effects that you get from 93L will be rather similar in those areas to Colin. Now let's move on. Advisories will be issued shortly on Invest 92L from the National Hurricane Center. If you've just heard the news, yes, that is happening for the first time. You've witnessed this history here. And 93L looks interesting. You can see the rotation. I think both of these systems will become tropical storms. And I think 92L, because it's so small, will probably get there first.
Nathan, with 93L and looking at the rainbow, what direction is it heading?
93, the one we're looking at now, well, it appears pretty clearly to be moving in a northwesterly direction there. Could even be
northerly?
Could even be northwest, but it won't be due north, and it will probably go more northwest soon, clipping the western tip of Cuba out into the Gulf of Mexico, and one or two models earlier.
Channel.
One or two models earlier today, HWRF, we're looking at you, said that there would be a hurricane out of this. Well, I'm not too sure on that one. And the GFS in their latest forecast recently said that it would stall for about 2 or 3 days, or 2 days at least, off the coast of Louisiana, and that would certainly dump huge amounts of rainfalls given how large this system is going to be, especially on the eastern side. So if you're watching from the Florida Panhandle, but particularly inland and coastal areas of Alabama and Mississippi and even Georgia, there could be very high amounts of rainfall from this system this week coming. Now, David, I don't suppose you want to open a window on what your weather is right now as well, whilst we wait for any developments from this.
Okay.
As long as it's not an essay.
No, it might be an essay. I'm going to do the AU update because we have low pressure, a very complex low pressure system off the New South Wales case down into the Tasman Sea towards New Zealand. Okay, current temperature 16.2 Celsius, maximum will be 22 today, and we have a bit of rain activity off the coast once it opens up.
Oh,
Here
yes.
we go. And we have various warnings in place. So this is Brisbane, tracking up from the south. And
If you're showing us something, we can't see it.
oh, you can't see it. Well, I won't show you.
It doesn't
because
matter anyway. I just wanted something.
it's very
brief from you.
sluggish. And we have dangerous surf conditions along the northern New South Wales coast. We have the Bureau of Meteorology has a wind warning currently in place for some of the coastal regions. And for our viewers, please hook up to our AU channel, and there'll be an update posted sometime this morning.
As I
The
rearrange
latest.
everything on the screen right now to make it as efficient as possible. Hopefully people won't get disorientated by everything that's going on. At least we don't have flashing lights or anything. We could have flashing lights, you're just saying. Tropical storm warning, but that would seem a little bit gimmicky. But we will have the update from the National Hurricane Centre very soon as they decide to put it out, obviously. We are expecting it at any time, really. They sometimes do it early, and we'll obviously be looking out for that. So we're looking at Invest 93L, which is taking up the main portion of your screen there on the GOES 16 imagery. Wonderful imagery at that, isn't it? And you can see a little bit of a wider shot on the bottom left-hand side there next to me, over there, if I'm pointing the right direction, yes, that way. Invest 92, which is the one in the middle there, and you can see David and Isaac there on the bottom right in the Skype call.
Hello.
Just in case they start screen sharing anything without me noticing. Right, well, some people want to know what is the peak intensity wind speed estimates of these two invests. Well, that's a good question. Invest 92, the HWRF this morning or yesterday said that it would get to at least 80 miles per hour 92L. Well, that's not going to happen. It is compact though, so it could intensify rapidly, more than people might expect, but I think it's really blown any chances of hurricane away. It could still get to mid-range or even high-range tropical storm though, as it approaches Trinidad. But after Trinidad, it appears pretty much a dead certainty that it will weaken substantially because of very poor conditions over in the Eastern Caribbean. As for Invest 93, I don't think you can rule out a hurricane. I don't think you can rule that out. But I'd say a very low chance. High-end tropical storm may be the way to go, though we're still going with a low end on Force 13's forecast. That might be revised later on. We'll see. But in the meantime, I personally don't have much else to say. We're just waiting for the update to appear on what they're calling potential tropical cyclone 2, but you know, my confusion still stands. People are going to be really confused if they issue the same thing on Invest 93L before either of them are formed, because they're going to have to call them both potential tropical cyclone 2, because tropical cyclone 2 has not yet formed. And when Tropical Cyclone 2 forms, whichever invest it is, they'll have to call potential Tropical Cyclone 2 potential Tropical Cyclone 3 on the other storm that hasn't formed.
Well
See what I
done.
mean with that one? It's confusing. But there we go. Well, we'll wait and see what happens on that. I just think it's... I'm not sure if it's been done the best way. They should just stick to calling it the invest label that it is until it becomes an actual tropical depression. One of the things that annoys me the most is when people call these systems by the names that they anticipate that it will be given, and quite often people have been proved wrong with that, and well, they have egg on their faces. One certain ex-member of the team did have that happen once. Anyway, we don't have any more questions at this point, so if you do have any for us, do send them in. We're pretty much don't have much else to say about this right now. Let's see if there's any new warnings in the US. There's no tornado warnings right now, you're pleased to know. Let me just give you a rundown of what the severe thunderstorm warnings are across the US right now. There's quite a lot of counties under a severe thunderstorm warning. One that was issued just 2 minutes ago: southeastern Shelby County, northern Mercer County, Woodford County, southwestern Scott County, Anderson County, northwestern Jessamine County, northeastern Washington County, northwestern Fayette County, and southern Franklin County in central Kentucky, all under a severe thunderstorm warning right now, and that's until 5:15 p.m. Also, there is another severe thunderstorm located near Oakfield. Now this is, where's this? Somewhere else, 7 miles north of Batavia, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. South central Orleans and northeastern Genesee counties under severe thunderstorm warnings. I think that's New York. And we've also got a severe thunderstorm warning. This was issued just 4 minutes ago. Remaining in effect until 4 o'clock Central Daylight Time for northwestern Ascension, central Livingston, east central Iberville, and south central East Baton Rouge parishes. That's Louisiana. And at 4:40 Eastern Time, Buffalo issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Cattaraugus County and western Allegheny County in western New York. And also, there were severe thunderstorm warnings in effect until 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time for east central Jefferson, northwestern Washington, southern Beaver, northwestern Allegheny, northeastern Brooke, and southeastern Hancock counties in several areas there. And eastern Warren County in Pennsylvania, McKean County in Pennsylvania, and also in Wyoming, northeastern Cattaraugus, and southeastern Erie counties, I think, pronunciation there, also in effect there till 5 o'clock. That is everything for now, I promise. And I don't know if you guys have been looking at anything new in the time that I was reading all that out, and whether you've got any new thoughts, comments on the invests.
I have a graphic that shows ability of where the storm's at right now. If I could pull that up, that'd be great, but my phone is not wanting to cooperate with me, so yeah.
Yes, we're not having much luck with that at the moment, it would appear.
Hold on.
Do stick with us whilst we wait for more information. Sorry? I can barely hear you anymore. You're cutting out a bit. Okay, people want to know, where exactly is the centre of 93L now? It depends who you're
This seems to be over by the time to load, it seems. Okay.
The supposed centre of 93L, there is no actual official centre yet, but in my eyes, I think it is that thing there, around 150 miles west of the Cayman Islands. I can't point it out to you right now, but if you can see it, then it is there, pretty much due west of Grand Cayman, which is that little island there on the right hand side, and due south by about 250 miles of the Isle of Youth in Cuba. Rob Carr would like to know if you can apply to join Force 13. Well, there are two things you can do. You can add Fool 13 on Skype, or add extension 9094 on Discord, and we have chat rooms on there if you'd like to join us and discuss tropical weather at any time, and that is usually the way in. In the meantime, David, anything to report?
Yes, we do have breaking news. A tsunami up in Greenland after magnitude, has swept away 11 houses. It's been reported 4 people were listed as missing on Sunday. and this is Greenland area. However, Nathan, I think 92L has been updated. An advisory. Or it has.
This is what we've been talking about for about nearly half an hour now, that the National Hurricane Centre will be issuing
So it has
shortly.
So,
Go ahead.
so what, another half an hour for 92L?
Well, it could be any time really. We're just watching out for it.
Waiting.
Sometimes they could be half an hour early, sometimes they could be half an hour late. So within the next 40 minutes. And I'm not sure I'm going to be here for it, because I have to leave after the end of this hour, and we'll probably be cutting away again, and I'm not sure what will be happening in the meantime. But we just thought we'd bring to you this another hour's update here.
Woo. Finally bumped the graphic. It's just taking a little bit to load.
Yes.
Oh dear. Yeah, the stream's gonna be over, but definitely by the time this loads, so.
I just want to tell people as well that they're going to be issuing advisories on this potential tropical cyclone. That doesn't mean that it is a tropical cyclone, a depression, or a storm yet. They must have a reason for it, a special case for this system to issue an advisory, whether it's because they want advance warning, whether it's because they feel confident about what it's going to do, but as it stands, it still has less chance of forming than 93L, which is the one you're looking at in the largest pane of the image here in the Western Caribbean. So it really surprised us, really, that they would issue advisories on 92, which has a lesser chance of developing, than 93, and why not both?
Okay, I got the graphic.
You think about compare the central pressures between the two, and 93L is definitely 1006 millibars to 1008. So you probably go for 93L.
Oh well, that's a little different, because 92L is such a lower latitude. The pressure probably equalizes really when you're talking about such small differences.
I just posted a graphic right now in chat, if you guys want to screen share it.
Well, I'm of course unable to, as being the host of the event, but
hang on.
Okay.
We're still waiting for the latest for the National Hurricane Centre's first update on Invest 92, and as soon as it arrives, as soon as it drops, we will give it to you, but I'm just not sure when that is going to be. What are the chances of the Invest to hit Florida? Well, it depends which part of Florida. The Panhandle region is pretty likely, or at least that it's going to be affected, but because of the broadness of Invest 93L, large parts of the western coast of Florida could see something from it, at least in terms of rainfall, if nothing else. But as I say, always with Invest 93L there, it looks probably through its whole life that the eastern side is going to be the worst side, and the western part will probably not have as much to it. You can see it as an example right now. Actually, you look on the western side of this system towards the Yucatan Peninsula on the very left hand side, there's not too much going on there, but you look east towards Jamaica, towards the rest of Cuba, there's a lot more cloudiness going on there, a lot more rainfall dropping, and that's been the case for a few days. A lot of those islands have had a real drenching in recent days.
Nathan, you got my screen share showing?
No, I do not have it.
You haven't.
We've got breaking
You haven't
news.
got it?
No, we've got breaking news of a flash flood warning that's just been issued. In fact, it was issued a little while ago at, if I'm looking at the right one, at 3:44 Central Time. Was that just now? I think so. A flash flood warning.
3:34 Central.
Sorry?
It was at 3:34 Central.
3:44.
CDT.
Was that 10 minutes ago?
That's it's like 20
Yeah,
minutes.
well, 10 minutes ago, 3:44. Flash flood warning for southern Weakley County, central Gibson County, and northwestern Carroll County in western Tennessee. Doppler radar estimates 1 to 3 inches of rain has occurred over the past hour. Showers and thunderstorms will produce an additional 1 to 3 inches of rain over the next hour. So, flash flood warning for all of these locations: Milan, Trenton, Dyer, Greenfield, Rutherford, Bradford, Atwood, Yorkville, Tucker's Corner, Grizzard, Good Luck, Cadiz, I think it is, New Enterprise, Central, Ledbetter, Curry, Stafford Store, Vaughan's Grove, Barron's Corner, and Gann. All under a flash flood warning at this time. We have to go very shortly, unfortunately. Unless you guys want to continue, but in fact the advisory has just come out here. They're saying 35 miles an hour, 1008 millibars, and if we get the forecast advisory on that, there's a tropical storm warning in effect for Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is breaking news. A tropical storm warning is in effect for Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is breaking news. And
following on, we have a flash flood warning, which remains in effect for eastern central parishes, Jamaica.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yep. A flash flood warning for low-lying, flood-prone areas: St Mary, Portland, St Thomas, Kingston, St Andrews, St Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, Trelawney, and St Anne. A flash flood watch is for the low-lying, flood-prone areas of St Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St James. This is an old one, or actually until 5 a.m. on Sunday. And Nathan is saying a broad area low pressure, has formed over the Western Caribbean. I'll just... No, they haven't updated. So flood warning is in place for the Jamaican region.
We're going to stay with you here because there is a tropical storm warning for Barbados and for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we're going to take a look at what Invest 92L looks like right now. Well, somewhere. We'll also give you the forecast advisory. They think that the storm is going to get to 45 knots, which is 50 miles per hour, early on the 20th. And as soon as the graphic comes out, we'll also provide that to you. So the bottom line there, tropical storm warnings are in effect for Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they've upped the chances of this system forming to 70%.
Have you seen my graphic yet?
Yes, we can just about see it on our screen there.
Yeah. The red is the more favorable parts. The orange is just favorable. Yellow is unfavorable, and then green is highly unfavorable. And you can see it's really favorable where 93 hours at, and then where 92 hours at, looks like it's just unfavorable. It seems you can barely see it on the right side, but it's unfavorable.
All right.
And this takes into account, I think, wind shear, dry air, and all that.
So this is the latest. If you've been away, the National Hurricane Center have just issued their first ever pre-storm advisory for Invest 92L. The reasoning is because tropical storm warnings are in effect for Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The storm is expected to reach that area in the next 48 hours or less. As soon as the graphics come out, we will provide them to you live here. And if you've got any questions or comments for us whilst we're on the air, do let us know. We will be staying here. I'm not sure in what capacity I'm able to stay with you. But if I have to leave for a while, David and Isaac will have to talk.
You want to do an open mic? Revisit the open mic?
I guess so.
Been a while.
Go soon now. I might have to go soon now, so it'll be only David.
Solo? No. Alright, Nathan. I've got the... I've been monitoring, and I have the... so it's developing.
And just a note here as well, the disturbance is expected to produce total rain accumulations of 2 to 4 inches over the Windward Islands on Monday and Tuesday. As soon as we get graphics, which we do now have graphics from the National Hurricane Centre, we will show you as soon as we can get them onto our screen here. Pretty much what Force 13 Suze has been saying all along, however. I think Orlando's with us now.
Hello.
Hi. What are your thoughts of the latest development here?
Wait, what did I miss?
The National Hurricane Centre have issued their first advisory on Invest 92L because tropical storm warnings are now in effect for Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Well, I think I can't argue against that. It would make sense. They're taking good precautions because 92L does still have a high chance of developing.
They've upped it to 70% as well.
And I think that would make sense to just add a warning just to make sure the public is aware of the developing situation and the MDR.
Indeed, there you can see the National Hurricane Centre's map, as I say, rather similar to what Force 13 Suze was saying, though at the moment it does appear as though the National Hurricane Centre might be hinting at a Trinidad landfall.
Actually, 92L is now Tropical Cyclone 2, if I'm correct.
Potential Tropical Cyclone 2.
So...
See, it's misleading at times, isn't it? People have got to read properly to find out what it is. It's not a tropical depression. It's not a tropical cyclone. It's a potential tropical cyclone.
I bet that most likely got people confused.
Yes,
Barbados Meteorological Services, they have this Synoptis or Synopus. A weak tropical wave is affecting the region. Local forecasts at present generally cloudy, breezy with some light to moderate showers, slight chance of isolated thunderstorms. This is 1600 Zulu to 2200 Zulu on Sunday.
Yes. Well, there it is right now. Light is slowly fading over Invest 92L, but this is the first storm system that the National Hurricane Centre have issued. What's the word I'm looking for here? Oh goodness.
Potential tropical cyclone advisory.
I know, but I'm looking for a particular word. It's gone away from me and I can't stall it for too long, but premeditated almost advisories on this particular system before it's even formed.
Cautionary.
But it's surprising that they've not issued any advisories on 93L when it has the same chance of forming as 92L. But I think it's just because two countries here have issued tropical storm warnings, and so that is why they've issued now these warnings.
Nathan, I've got an updated one from the Barbados Met Office. Severe weather information statement for Barbados issued 12 noon Sunday. An approaching tropical wave with axis now located near 4950 degrees west is expected to begin affecting Barbados late Monday into Tuesday. The system is showing some slow development at this time. Could become a tropical storm by the time it approaches Barbados and the southern windwards early Monday night. This could require the issuing of a tropical storm watch or warning for Barbados at late notice. Forecast models are indicating sustained surface winds of between 40 to 50 knots, 45 to 55 miles per hour, with higher gusts on the northern periphery of the system as it moves across the region. And Nathan, they also say, in addition, large easterly swells of 5 to 6 metres, 16 to 20 feet, are forecast to accompany the system. There's a high surf advisory, small craft warning will be in effect from 6 a.m. Monday.
Yes, indeed, and I do anticipate that we will be providing full coverage on the passage of this system during Monday, though regrettably I believe we have to draw a halt to our coverage now, but that is the breaking news that the tropical storm warnings are now in effect for Barbados and for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're going to be calling it a day here, at least in our live coverage, but there will be more on... Oh goodness, there's some noise over there in the background. There's going to be more updates on Force 13 on both our YouTube channel in the form of a tropical weather bulletin at midnight UTC. That is in 3 hours. On the Sue's page as well, we will be doing an update there at the same time. And then on Monday we will be providing a lot more coverage of this particular system if it is progressing as we expect it will into a tropical depression and tropical storm as it makes its passage to Trinidad or the southern Windward Islands. That's all from us for now, and as I say, midnight UTC will have another video, and of course you can always find us on our social platforms, Facebook and Twitter. Search Force 13, all in text, and you can add Fool 13 on Skype, FOOL13, and add extension 9094 on Discord. Guys, any parting comments before we finish up here?
Well, stay safe. Oh, sorry, David, did you want to go?
And monitor all official warnings.
It's best way to put up for it. See, yeah, because you never know with this thing, and pretty much everybody along the Gulf Coast who needs to be watching this, and it might be a big